Afternoon. Well, it's very comfortable out and there's a slight breeze. We're in the 80s. And I don't know if we got a shower today that may have brought down the temperature. I have to admit that I've felt cooped up and wanted to be out all day, but I'm writing again. I've been writing a lot lately. And I'll be before Judge Chutkan next week on a different case involving a client I represent. I don't expect we'll be talking about her number one case. Yesterday was a big deal. I felt that there was something more important than any of the other proceedings we've had. DA in New York, the case in Florida, even the case in DC. DA Willis has made a convert of me. You know, I scolded her for taking time, but it's now clear that she was using the time to advantage, and she decided, and I don't want to put words in her mouth because she hasn't said this, but I think she was saying, you're not going to come into Georgia and commit these crimes and foul up our electoral proceedings and run down our people and cheat and lie and steal. And she didn't say any of that, except she did. Her document is powerful. I find it more powerful than any of the others. And the reason is, I think, that she decided to set the table, to put down at the table of conspiracy the most prominent people who did the worst to our republic and to Georgia. And Georgia becomes one focus, an important focus, of what Trump and his allies were doing. And there's something satisfying about seeing Rudy Giuliani and Meadows mentioned among those people. And I hear the critics saying, oh, how's she going to try 19? Well, only a year and a half or so ago, the Southern District of New York, where I was, they indicted 19 people, and they tried them in the Southern District. And when I was a young prosecutor, we tried large cases. I don't remember if there was a case as big as 19 people, but there were some decent-sized cases in which lawyers and their clients are sitting around large courtrooms. So it can happen. So those people who say 19 is too much, no, it's not too much. 25 or 100. 19 is about right. Some will cooperate, some will plead guilty. So the number 19 will shrink probably. It's also possible it could grow. They could have superseding indictments and add more people, although I suspect they won't do that. I was surprised that Trump Jr. wasn't in there. You saw the Washington Post put together a terrific chart, I guess, pictures and names and the cycles of influence they had that won them a berth as part of a RICO conspiracy. So I think what we have here is DA Willis has proven that she has her eye on the prize. She knows why she's doing it, and she decided Trump was not enough. Trump and whom he infected and caused to be corrupt or to participate as already corrupt people with Trump, who is pure evil, in my opinion. Some resist that, but I think that he has no soul. He has no empathy. He is only out for himself, and the people he arranges around him, same types. How they got there is astonishing, but they're there. That's who they are. They seem to have no interest in changing it. Can you imagine living like that? Having no values except to line your own pocket with money and to seize power, and the baubles that the people who contribute nothing to society arrange around them to enjoy. Objects that mean nothing, signify nothing. Empty lives. But what they do has a certain kind of dark empathy about it. Certain absence of connection with what most of us think should matter. Friends, family, children, telling the truth, doing good things, working a good day's work. Sounds pretty middle class, huh? Well, I was. So I think those who are running down, and I thought I saw some of the experts doing that. Oh, how can she do that? She can't try 19 people. Oh, what is she going to do? She's going to try this case for 6 months? And I think the answer is she's decided, I'm going to do this case the right way and let other schedules be damned. I'm not going to be in charge of the presidential cycle. I'm not going to be in charge of what these other cases are. I'm not going to do anything arrogant about it. I'm going to keep my nose to the grind and now fulfill my promise to carry this case to conclusion in the best way possible. And I think she's off and running. I find the way she did this, the punch that she made, that she decided it was going to be done yesterday and she was going to stay there until it happened, is the kind of thing I like seeing in any person. The warrior nature to do what's important, that may seem difficult, even impossible, until people put their shoulder to the stone and push against it and make it happen. And she did that. And the judge on duty respected her, and he basically said, I'm here as long as you need me. It's just classy, really classy, local and monumental. So, what is the meditation about this? The meditation I have is that it's over for Trump. I mean, it's truly over. It's just a question of time now. He doesn't believe it, and all these people out there who comment and so forth, they don't believe it. I don't know how they could not know it. The evidence is extraordinary in all these actions. I don't know what tyrant could handle all of these things. We've plainly infringed upon the empire that Trump claims, showing it's not an empire at all. It's another front. Everything about him is a front. But the feeling I had, it was like we've broken through the wall finally. I say we in the sense that we celebrate what was done in Georgia by D.A. Willis and her staff and the court people and the witnesses who appeared voluntarily and took their chances and who fought back. There's an element of every person who's a witness in this case deciding to fight back. We have so many heroes in a single place all of a sudden. And yeah, some I had to have their arm twisted. But we are pushing back against those who sought to defile America and replace it with an autocracy. And we're on the verge of pushing them into cell blocks. It'll happen. Won't happen tomorrow. Won't happen in the 10 days they have to surrender, but it will happen. So, I don't have much else to talk about today. I'm still kind of reviewing in my own mind what I think this means. And I did a Twitter comment on Rudy Giuliani, because I've known him. Or I did know him, or I thought I knew him. And it's so incongruous who he's become. And I guess part of me thinks if I can figure out what happened to Rudy, maybe I can understand what happened to these others. There's a book I liked in high school, The Bridge of San Luis Rey, and beautifully written book. And I read and reread it because a man of the cloth was trying to figure out how these people died on a rope bridge across a deep ravine. What was God's plan for them? And I don't want to spoil it for you, but it may not surprise you that we don't see God's hand in it. But what I see here now, trying to analyze how we got here, is that there are enough people in and out of government, enough people with small and large contributions and sacrifices. There are enough who have a center, who have standards, who believe in order and justice. And justice has a new meaning these days because we've breathed action into the word in America. And with that, we can hear the heartbeat resume that has been absent for so long. And people going forward, at least in the near future, are going to be judged by how they handle what's been manifest in terms of the crimes of Trump and his associates, his allies. And that's a good thing. And those of us who've just flapped our mouths about this and tried to do something, and those who were on the lines doing something, taking risks, and we've discovered congressmen and senators who showed courage when courage was a hard thing to find in this nation, in almost any category. So I take today as a day to recover from a day of wonder and success, more so than any other case, I believe. And the one thing I'm sure about is D.A. Willis is not going to be taking many days off. Oh, I'm not saying that's what she wants to do. You saw her face last night when she was talking. She was tired, but she's a warrior. And she was fighting. And she was doing it responsibly. And she's perhaps the toughest prosecutor in the room. We'll see. And there's a part of me, I don't know if her dad's alive. I don't know if you know the story or not, but when she was a kid, he was a lawyer. He'd take her to court with him. He was a Black Panther too. And so it would be nice to think he's still alive and could see what his once little girl is doing. She's a tiger. So it's refreshing and encouraging to find that we have some classy people. It offsets those that are the least of our brethren and hardly worth our sympathy. And so their indictment and the horror they now may suffer that they foisted on others before, it brings me only joy. The joy of victory over evil. Is it that simple? No. But that's a lot closer than any other comparison one can make. So, in my true cathedral of trees that lift themselves to the sky in celebration of the indictments in Georgia, I bid you good evening. Bye-bye.